Russian volunteer corps fighters have again entered Russian territory, and Russian propagandists are already complaining that the RVC has tank support. Here are the statements made by representatives of the resistance. Well, friends, the Russian volunteer corps is once again fighting in Russia. Very soon the outskirts of Shebekino will appear. Unfortunately, we cannot evacuate civilians from the border areas because the Russian army is shelling those areas and thus making evacuation difficult. Stay in your homes, don't worry, the Russian volunteer corps soldiers are not fighting civilians. This was followed by a video of the flaming administrative building in Shebekino, where RVC fighters entered the building. Representatives of the Freedom of Russia Legion also made a statement. We are now near the border of our homeland. Very soon we will advance again into Russian territory to bring freedom, peace and tranquility. Grave or on, this is only the beginning. Due to the cowardice of Putin's military jackals, we have received many trophies. Thanks to this we can arm more of our comrades in arms. We are going to liberate the whole of Russia, from Belgorod to Vladivostok. In order to raise the white-blue-white flag of freedom in Moscow. Freedom of Russia Legion then reported the destruction of a 2S4 Tyalpan self-propelled mortar and a truck with ammunition during combat operations on Russian territory. We can observe the detonation of the Tyalpan self-propelled mortar's ammunition destroyed at the coordinates provided by Freedom of Russia Legion. And in Shebekino, documents are already being burned, people are leaving. Such a commotion, and only from two groups of Russian soldiers the size of a company or two. What will happen when a couple of brigades arrive there? Or tactical groups? I don't know who it is, a Russian military man or a war correspondent, but this is what he says. Hello. The city is being evacuated, there is a massive artillery barrage. The guys are holding on for now, but it's unclear if they will be able to hold on or not. Those who see it, repost, show that this is Shebekino and there are fights going on here. Let the talking heads know that it's not just some bullshit here. And here are Russian war correspondents under fire from Russian soldiers conducting a special operation in Russia. For some reason they call their fellow citizens Ukrainians. Lay down. The rocket launcher Grad is hitting Shebekino. My fellow war correspondent Alexei Gavrish. And here I am. And we are lying in Shebekino. On the ground under Ukrainian Grads. Flights one after another. And while Russian propaganda tells us that everyone has been defeated, the advanced detachments of the Russian Volunteer Corps are already fighting in the outskirts of Shebekino. This is what the residents of Shebekino say on the spot. June 1st, behind me our town of Shebekino, which is on fire. All in flames, there are still battles going on there. We left the city. Thank God we made it last night. The child was taken away. There is an attack by Afu on the city. There are very few of us there. In the previous days, as long as we had been shelled, there had been practically no retaliation, and there had been no military personnel either. We were left to our own devices. It got to the point that tonight people fled on their own. Many now remain in basements. They cannot evacuate them. Someone was evacuated, someone is still sitting there under fire. We are fine. We don't know what will happen next. We haven't gone far away, my husband only took the child to his relatives. Because where can we go away from our workshop, from our production? All our life is here, our work. From a practical point of view, everything is clear, Ukrainians are transferring the war to the territory of the aggressor, by the hands of the Russians themselves and raising its price. And at the same time they are rehearsing the creation of the demilitarized zone, which has been mentioned more than once. The conclusion here is simple, it was not necessary to start Kyiv in 3 days and Shebekino would have stood as if nothing had happened. Everything in the world has a price, everything has to be paid for.